But I learned years ago, it's better to be united dealing with problems than to be having problems and you're divided. That's not good. You don't want to be divided and you're dealing with some serious issues, and as a family you're not on the same page. Not on the same page. That's going to produce a disaster. And so notice Matthew the 12th chapter. And so Jesus has cast out a demon, and as a result of casting the demon out, the Pharisees, or the religious folk, felt like he himself was of the devil. And that's how they was trying to explain him having the ability to cast a demon out. But I'm happy that it happened, because in that happening, Jesus uses it as an opportunity to teach on division and unity. Because notice in verse 25, the Bible said, but Jesus knew their thoughts. He knew what evil religious people were thinking in reference to why he was able to do what it was that he had did. And so Jesus knew their thoughts, and he corrected their thoughts by saying to these religious folk, and understand sometimes some of the most dangerous people can be religious people. Come on, some of the most evil folk can be religious people. I want y'all to really hear me. People who in one sense know the scripture, know the word, yet they are evil. They are evil. But Jesus knew their thoughts and said to them, every kingdom, notice carefully, every kingdom, no exception, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself will not stand. And so he goes on to explain to them that if Satan himself is divided, that his kingdom will not stand. But notice again, he says to them, every kingdom divided against itself, notice the wording carefully, is brought to desolation. Is brought to desolation. So there's a process. You can be divided, and from the initial, you may not see desolation. But according to Jesus, it's coming. According to him, that's where a kingdom or a city or house or family is headed when they are divided against themselves. Notice again, he said they're brought to desolation. Every city, every house divided against itself will not stand. So basically, Jesus says that a divided house or a divided family is going to fall. It's going to fall. It's a matter of time. If a family is divided, if a church is divided, a falling is going to take place. No matter how much the people within that church or family pretend that everything is okay, a falling is going to take place. They're going to be brought into desolation, and you can't miss the fall because you're divided. And this is Jesus, or the truth, speaking to us about division and indirectly speaking to us about unity. Because notice, if we're divided, we're going to fall. But indirectly, he's teaching us that if we are together, we're going to be able to stand. Do y'all see that? Again, I got to take my time this morning, just teach it again. If we divide it, we're going to fall. But Pastor, I don't want to fall. Don't matter what you don't want to do. If you divide it, you're coming into desolation and you're going to fall. If you are united or if you're together, you're going to stand. Based upon that, my subject this morning is simply, together we stand, but divided we fall. Together we stand, but divided we fall. Again, I want to minister from together we stand, but divided we fall. Let's give the Lord a praise for our subject on this morning. Come on, let's take our claps a little bit higher for him. Hallelujah. Now, before I begin this teaching, is there anybody that wants to fall? Anybody that want to be in desolation? Because if it is, I don't want to be connected with you. I don't want to be connected with you. I don't want to be close to you. Not if you want to fall. Not if you want to be in desolation. I don't need to be connected with you. Listen to me, and I'm dead serious. At all. At all. At all. I don't want folk to join this church who love mess. I don't want folk to join this church who love creating mess and keeping up mess. My prayer gonna be, if somebody about to come here and they all about that drama and that mess, my prayer is, God, send them to a church where the pastor, he's about mess. Come on, that's what they need to be. Don't let them come here. Why? That ain't what we about. That ain't what I'm about. Right? And so again, if you are about that, then we can't be connected. We can't be connected because we have two different mindsets. And I take being united seriously. Yeah, I take unity serious. You want to talk about some things that I really take to heart, that I'm really serious about? That's being united. When it comes to my family, I want my family united. I want us on the same page. I want my church family on the same page. I want us united. I'm serious about that. If you want to rub me the wrong way, all you got to do is show me that you are about that mess. Show me that you are about dividing people, and you're going to get what you want from me. You're going to notice that, hey, I done rubbed him the wrong way. Yeah, because you are about that foolishness. Now, so let's get into this teaching, because in order to be united, I've stated earlier that every family and every church will have its problems. Life itself is not problem free. It's not problem free. And a lot of times within a church or a family, our problems may not be the same. They may not be the same. But notice, if we are to be together, united, so that we can stand, we have to, number one, eradicate division. I want to talk to you about, we have to eradicate division. What does it mean, Pastor, to eradicate something? Number one, it means that we have to destroy it or something completely. See, division is so serious that whenever it sticks its head up, there needs to be somebody, there needs to be people who know how to eradicate the divisions, to destroy it completely. Listen to me, by pulling it up from the root. See, in other words, when it comes to division, you can't play with it. If you want to get rid of it completely, then you got to pull it up by its root. Come on. That means when you go to tackle division, you got to get all of it. Woo, I'm already to you. You got to pull it all up. Which says to me that when it comes to eradicating division, it's going to take something. It's going to take something, because it's easy to see a plant, if you will, and you pluck a leaf off of it. That's easy to just simply pluck a leaf off. But when you talk about taking that plant up which has been planted for some time by the root, now you're about to have to work or put forth some serious effort. Why is God teaching us this? Because when it comes to a lot of families, we're simply not willing to put the work in to completely destroy division. And some of y'all know that I'm right about that, because some of us have been a part of families that were divided. And it wasn't just that the family was divided, it was divided and you could see the ruin in the family. Yet the people in the family did not want to do what it was going to take to get rid of it. But see, I'm different. I know division will pop its head up. But I'm determined as a leader of this church and my house to pull it up by the root. Come on, somebody. In other words, when you're pulling it up by the root, it says sometimes that certain people and certain things must be exposed. Sometimes the reason we can't get rid of division is because we're not willing to expose certain people. To get rid of division, sometimes you have to expose things that are being said and done for the detriment of the family. So you have to take seriously when you're in a family and somebody within the family is saying things that will tear up the family rather than lift up the family. That's got to be exposed. Come on, it can be your best friend, but you need to truly expose how your best friend really feels about certain things. I know I'm right about, even in a family, sometimes you can see how there's division within a family, because rather than people exposing what is hurting the family, you have these family secrets. Y'all know I'm right about it. In some family, you have these family secrets. You have these cliques. See, sometimes from a broader standpoint, I look at my family and I see people who are close, but their closeness is no good. It's no good. They're tight, but they're tight for a reason. She don't hardly say nothing. No, she talk more than you think. She just talk to people who gonna listen to her foolishness. No, she expresses herself. Don't get me wrong, but she does so to people who she know is like-minded. Am I right about that? Number two, it is to put something to an end, or to put an end to something. Division is that thing, again, when it arises, you have to have a mindset to put an end to this. We need to put an end to this. How many times do you see families struggling? But when you really get to the core issues, they're still dealing with the same problems. They're still allowing the same thing to separate them that separated them last year. They haven't got any better when it comes to dealing with certain things. Y'all know I'm right about it. They're not putting an end to it. And there are certain problems that arise. It not only has to be dealt with, but it has to be dealt with correctly. We know it's a problem. Let's don't play with it. Let's don't let it get out of control. Oh, I'm teaching right. There are some problems that'll start small. If you don't correct it right, if you don't handle that the proper way, it's going to give you trouble for years. Come on, somebody. It's going to be a thorn in your flesh for years because you did not deal with it when you had the chance. That's when I don't run from trouble. I just look to deal with things the proper way. And believe you me, I'm talking to Christians this morning when I deal with God's church or I'm talking about Christian families. We got to understand when problems arise, don't get all bent out of shape. Don't even panic. Just recognize as a believer, there's a proper and an improper way to deal with problems. Come on, and don't be ready to burn the house down like you the only one got. Everybody got problems. Don't throw away your children. Don't treat them in a way that's not just because there's some problems with them. Recognize everybody else that's done raised some teenagers and some young adults have had to deal with some problems. It ain't always been a smooth sailing. Am I right about that? I could care less what folks are saying on the outside about the problems we're dealing with on the inside, as long as we're together on the inside. What they're saying on the outside, preacher, pastor, it's not going to affect us. It's not going to bring down our house. But what does the Bible say? The Bible talks about how a woman can pull down her house with her own hands. Most of the time when things are falling, it's an inside job. Me and Donna have been through a whole lot of things that some families would not have survived. But I remember sometimes dealing with things, just telling Donna, say, look, it don't matter what they're saying on the outside. What we need to do is stay together. What we need to do is allow this problem to pull us closer and not apart. Oh, I know I'm teaching right, because some family, that's what problem do. It just keep pulling on you until eventually it splits you. But you can't let that happen. I said you can't let that happen. Am I right? Finally, when you eradicate division, the goal is to eliminate it or to annihilate it. But see, you got to have a hatred for division. You can't annihilate something that you like playing with. Y'all agree with that? You can't annihilate something that you love. You can't annihilate something that you get joy out of. Whoa, I said something there. Because there are people who love fussing. They love arguing. They love quarreling. Right? If you love it, you can't annihilate it. You can't get rid of it, because for some strange, weird, even stupid way, you enjoy being apart more than you do being together. And so notice again Jesus' words, y'all hanging here with me. But Jesus knew their thoughts and said to them, every kingdom divided against itself. Notice what he said, is brought to desolation. Is brought to desolation. Number one, it is going to be laid waste or ruined. It's going to be laid waste or ruined. And that's when sometimes you can see a house, a family or a church thriving. But if division gets in it and it's not eradicated, then you're going to see a house that was once thriving. Listen to me carefully. You're going to see it falling. Because I believe that there are some things that can only be hid for so long. Come on. Anybody know anybody that everybody know they're not together, but they think they're fooling folk by acting like they so close and they so tight? Y'all know I'm right. I've seen married folk like that. They just, when they get in public, you know, they got all this affection for each other that's going on. They ain't doing nothing but playing. People, when they get a chance to speak in public, they got all these old nice words and nicknames for each other. Well, see, if you ain't saying that at the house, I mean, who you putting this show on for? Well, Pastor, I just think you don't say enough about First Lady. I say enough. You see what I'm saying? I ain't with the plan. If I have a nickname for her, you don't need to know it. And some of you wouldn't want to know. Because if I reveal it, it's going to be hard for you to come back and say, Sister Donna, First Lady. Am I right? Now here's the important definition that I want us to receive for desolation. Notice it's going to be brought into desolation. A state of unhappiness. Whenever a house is divided, it's going to be brought into a state of unhappiness. And listen, again, I don't want to be a part of any family and we are unhappy all the time. I'm just saying if I got somebody that's with me on that. No. Because see, it don't matter how big your house is. Don't matter how pretty it may be. How much room you got in it. If unhappiness is in the house, who cares about what you drive? Y'all ought to be giving me some amen. I'm serious about this. I'm not going to be a part of something and we in a state of unhappiness. I don't want to come to church and we unhappy here. We've not just allowed unhappiness to creep in, but it has taken over. And believe you me, there are churches that when they gather together, it's not about uplifting one another. It's not about feeling the presence of God and being joyful amongst each other. It's about you being able to feel in that house that something is not right. And if you like me, look at somebody and tell them, I absolutely enjoy being happy. How many value your happiness? Do you value it enough to eradicate division? See, that's the thing. How much do you love being happy? Because I'm going to tell y'all, I love it. And folk who don't want to be happy and they don't want deliverance, get off and around me. I ain't being too hard, am I? I don't want nothing to do with that. Why, Pastor? Because I know that it doesn't have to be that way. Leaders don't have to get together and there's no happiness when we come together. Deacons don't have to be against one another. Needs to be joy in the deacon's office. Yes, they do. Whether you ever go in there or not, they need to know that there's joy in that office. There's joy working with one another. Even though there may be times that problems arise between a deacon and another deacon. But the happiness in that office should mean so much to them that they're willing to get it right without even having to involve pastor. Same can be said for ministers and leaders and brothers and sisters. The joy you feel when you come to this church, the togetherness that we can feel, you should value it so much that if you and your sister have a disagreement, you should desire to solve it the biblical way. You and your sister needs to get together and take care of that issue between y'all two, so that y'all problem will not spread into other stuff. I know I'm teaching right, because sometimes division can spread. It can start amongst two people, and if they don't handle it right, they'll start pulling other folks in, and before you know it, you got one group against another group. But it all started, y'all know I'm just telling the truth, with sister so-and-so having a problem with another sister, and not going to that sister, but talking about that sister to other people. And see, the message has to, in one sense, come meaty, because again, we're looking to eradicate division. We're looking to deal with it. How many know sometimes you're going to have problems with people you love? I'm going to say it again because I didn't see some hands. How many know you're going to have problems sometime with people you love? Yes, you are. But what you don't do is, because problems arise, you doing what I say when you see people, they love and then they stop loving. Then they love and then they stop loving. See, we got to have that ability to love through problems.
Thank you for watching the Making People Productive broadcast with Pastor Leonard D. Cochran of A Place of Refuge, Noonan. To order your copy of today's message, please call the church office at 770-252-3855 and reference the message number listed below. We want to hear from you. If you have been helped, strengthened, or encouraged by the word, let us know. Also, don't forget to connect with us on all of our major social media platforms to receive exclusive information and updates with all things Refuge Noonan. A Place of Refuge Noonan is located in the city of Noonan, Georgia. If you would like to visit us, our worship times are every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. on location and live at 10:45 a.m. We also have service every Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. via Facebook and YouTube Live.